Ha! You thought I was going to forget to hit recording, didn't you, Internet? I didn't. Yeah. Welcome to the Sunday at weekly-ish D&D with friends. So, let's see. Last time you guys were uh, here, you had just left a planet that contained the
Killer clowns.
yes, the space clowns, as it were. Let's see, and you had collected four now of the words of power, I believe, for the rod
Yes, I
of
think
seven
so.
hearts. And of course, Reggie had discerned your new coordinates and begun to fly you there. However, as you were leaving this planet, you did notice several tiny vehicles, which appeared to be packed with illogical numbers of these clowns chasing after you. So we're gonna actually pick right up, right there, and as you guys are attempting to prepare the ship for its spell jamming jump to the next system, a few things come into question. One, you were given an insta jump to this particular plane or planet, sphere, whatever you will, that had been sort of paid in full already. So your helm is currently like void of spell jamming powers. You do have some capability to power it up. Um, Airyainth, as the captain, you are able to burn spell slots in order to.
Oh, what level slot would be required to get us there?
So it is only a second level spell slot that is required. It will, however, take about 10-15 minutes for you to attune to the helm again since you've been away from it. Um, shouldn't be too long. You just need to sit there, and it's like literally firing up the ship essentially. So you kind of can start doing that if you wish.
Yeah, I'll spend a second level slot for it.
Okay. Now, as you are preparing to make your way to jump, suddenly from all around you there is blips of light and large vessels begin coming into view, sailing directly at your ship, which is essentially stagnant in space right now. It's not really going anywhere. You might be flying forward a little bit, but in terms of space distance, you're basically in idle. Um, Now, this makes everyone on the deck, all your crew, very, very tense. And you hear a few of the drow in particular begin muttering things about Astral Elves and the Armada. Uh, these
What do you mean by Astral Elves? I say to one of them.
this is, well, they call themselves the law of space, but I don't think you really want the law coming around here, Captain. Not with the state of this ship and the crew you're keeping time with. And he just kind of scurries off quickly, like as soon as you give any pause to continue about his job. Um,
Reggie, can we outrun these assholes?
Reggie beeps and boops for a moment, and returns, negative, First Mate Tohan. But I believe I can outmaneuver them for the time being. And quickly the ship begins to turn on its kind of on its z-axis, we'll say, rotating over so that the keel is now you are now keel to keel with these oncoming ships. So Reggie has just managed to get you low enough that the hulls of the ships are actually now just skimming together, and you can hear a slight groan and creak. That many of the crew start crying out. Now remember, your plane of gravity stays constant to the ship, so essentially Reggie just pivots you around, and as these three large vessels pass over you and you're skimming the bottom of theirs, it says, "Easy does it now. If we don't move, maybe they won't detect us. They are reliant on simple scanning sensors, it seems like. Perhaps they didn't notice us when they first blipped in." And sure as luck would have it, These Astral Elves do not either have seemed to notice you or seem more inclined to notice the several small, very Volkswagen-esque vehicles that are flying up towards you, and they instantly begin attacking these fucking clowns. They do not like clowns. Pro tip, not many people in the universe, multiverse, spelljammerverse, whatever you want to call it, like clowns. They are pretty much a scourge as far as most space locals are concerned. So as this kind of these large warships begin blasting away at these smaller vehicles, several kind of fighter ships seem to come out of the sides of these things, out of these ports that open up, and soon these clowns are just laid to waste. This is right about when your ability to spell jam kicks in. And
Reggie, go!
he says, Captain, there's a signal. It seems that these Astral Elves are hailing us. Would you have me answer them?
No, let's just go.
Very well. And he punches it. So as he hits the Spelljammer kind of like trigger, and light begins to warp all around the ship, you receive what it feels like a someone ringing a doorbell in your head almost. It is what you would recognize as an attempt to communicate psychically.
What do I sense about the intentions?
I mean, you can only sense about as much as you could sense of like a doorbell's intentions. It's literally just like a ringing in your head, like knocking. Hey, so anybody home? Like that's the general kind of feel of it. I will say that it gets the feel of a cop knock. It's not like a polite tap tap. It's like,
Go, Reggie.
okay. So you rattle off through to the next sphere that Reggie had pre-programmed in, and you arrive an area that seems to share a lot of similarities with the last four or so world or four star systems you visited. A large star. This one a bright blue. 7 planets spread out around the star, circling at what appeared to be kind of like it would seem that the year of each of these planets would be locked in with the year of all the other planets, if that makes sense. Even though they're farther apart, so the ones that are farther away seem to be moving through space much faster. The ones closer to the star seem to be moving much slower, which is fairly atypical of star systems in our world, but hey, this is fantasy. So it essentially looks like the entire star system looks like a giant spinning top. And as you enter in, Reggie points out the planet that you are intended to go to.
I ask Reggie if he senses if they were able to follow us, or if he can tell by scanning.
Let's see. Reggie says, "Oh dear, I'm afraid it seems like they may have picked up on our trail. I'm detecting some hyperspace movement in our sector.
Is there a way to cover our tracks and hide us if they come through so that we can hopefully avoid them and get on with this? We don't have time for dealing with them.
Well, let me consult with the engineers. Nib, knob! And clang, clang, clang comes up these 2 auto gnomes. Nib salutes you hard, hitting his open saluting hand off his forehead loud enough to like sound almost like a loud gong going off. He says, "Oh well, welcome back there, Captain. It's been a heck of a ride here so far, don't you know?"
Indeed.
And he says, "What can I do for you?" And Reggie quickly takes over and says, "Please Nib, we need to invent some sort of cloaking mechanism for the ship. Something that will throw people off from our temporal displacement. The trail of it. Oh, well, that shouldn't be too hard to do there, sir. You see, while you guys were out on that last little adventure, me and Nob here, and well, your friend Vanadia have been coming up with a few things. It should just be a quick hour or two, and we should be able to have it up and running. What do you say? Should I give it what I? Well, should we see what we can do?
What do you think, rest of the party?
What did you make?
Oh well, it's a little hard to explain, but it involves pounding sheets of metal down real thin, and then we fold them in this certain way, and we've been having some pretty good success with it. And Nadia, she figured out a good production line method for it, so if we need to make them quick, we should be able to. It's sort of like a optical illusion.
If everybody's in agreement, I would say let's do it.
Good.
The only thing is, making these is going to use up all them resources we've been gathering with the drill dozers, so any other upgrades to the ship will have to wait.
What upgrades were we working on?
I think, like, armory, perhaps weaponry. I don't remember.
You guys cool with that, or do we want to take our chances with dealing with these elves?
It would be noted, so far you haven't actually seen any physical signs of them showing up in this star system. I think Reggie is more like kind of saying they've been detected bouncing from star system to star system, and they're pretty close, so they're definitely trying to find you.
Maggie's not nervous about it. She feels like, hey, let me talk to him. It'll be cool, but she doesn't have a strong opinion either way.
Well,
I say we head down to the planet, and if their scanners can find us, I'd rather fight them on the ground.
fair enough. Well, let's get out of vision at the very least, and do what we can to keep the ship out of view.
Yes, very well, Captain. It shall be done. Nob goes, aye, aye, Captain. And goes stomping
Use
off.
as little power as possible so that there's not as much to detect. If that makes any sense or difference.
Yeah, so Reggie kind of he dims down all the features of the ship, makes it as dull and unnoticeable as possible. So you've essentially gone dark. Like you tell the crew, put the lanterns out, lower the sails, things like that. Any of Reggie's like kind of displays that he pops up on occasion are right down now. And as you sit in the helm of this spelljamming ship, you are able to hear kind of what is the magical equivalent of the sound of the waves on the ocean. It's almost as if like the magic that powers this ship is linked directly into the weave somehow. It's a much more intrinsic link than something like wizardry magic or sorcery magic. This is like something that exists on a level that is so fundamental that you can't quite put your finger on it, but it's a force of nature, as it were.
I try to reach my magic out and get a sense of the rhythm and feel of it.
Okay, so roll me an Arcana check. Of course, with advantages, Reggie is present too.
I always get advantage. A 23.
Okay. So with the sound of these, the sound isn't there, with the feel of these magical kind of pulses hitting the ship into the hull and up through the helm into you, you begin to almost become hypnotized by it. Like you are carried away, much in the same way that strange leaf from the creature did. You find yourself sort of having a out-of-body experience. You can hear a voice that is both echoey and loud, but whispering and soft at the same time. And again, this voice begs of you, almost pleads with you at this point, to repair the damage, to fix the weave. And when it says this, now that feeling that you had of like the calm lapping waves of magic, this now transitions into something that is much more chaotic, something much more of a storm at sea, a tempest, just loud crashes of chaos all around you. No more calm, no more sort of understanding behind it, but just absolute force of chaos. And after just what seems like a long time, but is only a few brief minutes, you sort of snap out of this, and you are once again reminded that Mystra, the goddess of magic of many worlds, is at this point both beholden to you and sort of holds sway over you. And your desire to complete the task of getting the Rod of Seven Parts is, I would think, very much reaffirmed by this. It is like that's the feeling you get. It's like, I have to get this fucking rod. And
I have a feeling that's a big part of how to fix the weave.
Yeah, like it becomes to you that this rod is going to be integral in whatever you have to do to repair this damage.
Do I get the feeling that it needs to be completed, or just it's important to me to get all the parts?
Well, without getting the other words, you're fairly certain that it'll be essentially useless against whatever it is that you're trying to face.
I guess what I'm trying to ask, because the whole thing Airyainth has been intrepid about is whether she should she wants to gather all the parts because she doesn't want anybody else to have them, but she's scared about putting that very last part in place. What will happen?
And yeah, that's the feeling that you get is that's exactly the problem, is you're not quite sure what will happen when this rod is complete. You still don't know if some terrible thing. You were sort of warned at one point by one of the priests of the temples that the rod's origins, the creation of the rod by the Wind Dukes, was to combat this force of chaos called Miska the Wolf Spider, and that Miska was actually defeated with the rod, but the rod, when it struck Miska, shattered into 7 parts. And so those two things hold a great balance, and it is very possible that upon the completion of the rod, there may be some draw to the other side of that Miska, the wolf spider, and or his goddess, mistress, whatever you call her, the queen of chaos, may rear their ugly heads again in the universe. I mean, these are like big concepts too, you know. This is like someone telling you like, oh hey, you know, if you manage to put all the parts of this trident back together, then Poseidon's coming for you. Like, it's that sort of thing.
Rather concerned and a little upset, I walk over to Maggie and I say and ask, Maggie, could you please commune with your goddess and Hestia and see if she has any words of wisdom to help me in what we're doing here? May I please commune with you?
Yeah, Maggie says, what would you have me ask? My lady Hestia.
Ask her. Airyainth is just so overwhelmed with what she just experienced. Ask her what my best path forward is once I have all the parts of the rod. How do I help mend the weave of magic? What is the right path?
Maggie kind of smiles and says, "My lady Hestia is so removed from our affairs that she cannot and will not give answers like that. But we can ask her yes or no questions and get answers that way."
Thank you. I would appreciate any guidance your goddess can give us.
All right, I'll try to think of yes or no ways to phrase that, but it's going to take me and Maggie some time.
Yeah, and in the meantime, a few other things are happening on the ship. Ashnak, who was with you last time and had kind of planted some bombs on that clown world, he is over the top about the fact that we ran from elves, and he has been grumbling the entire time about, oh, we could have taken him, I'm sure, needed a little quick recon and get on that ship. I would have taken him right out. We could have had
Ashnak, I know we could have taken him out, but we don't have the time right now. We have other important things we must focus on. If it comes to it, I'll be more than happy to let you deal with them if we have to.
Well, long ago, before I was a Marine, we used to have a saying in the fighting Agaku, and that was the only good elf is a dead. Oh, hey,
I raise an eyebrow at that.
It was just more of a saying. It wasn't really meant to. Anyway, I best be off. I got Dex to swab. And he kind of puts his head down and starts kind of grumbling to himself, walking away.
He's like, "I'm so glad you've grown so much, Ashnak."
He says, "Yes, Hestia be praised." Kind of gives you a little nod.
Airyainth giggles.
So Tohan, while this is going on, you've, I'm assuming, been kind of keeping an eye out for these elves wherever they might be coming from. And without even making a perception roll, I would say that you are the first to see the flump, flump, flump of these three great ships popping into view.
We got company.
Oh, Ashnak!
Ashnak's ears perk up and spins back around. I'll be right there.
We're gonna try and reason with them first. We'll have Maggie talk to them, and then if we have to, we'll deal with it.
Right. When it doesn't work out, I'll take care of things. Don't worry. He goes running under below decks, you're assuming to go get one of his weapons. Again, this hailing frequency opens. Reggie tells you they're attempting to contact us. Should I put the message up on the screen?
Proceed.
So in your cabin on like a small kind of map chart thing that's set up on a table now, there appears this image, and it is a very tall figure compared to most elves you've seen. Maybe standing a foot taller even, or a foot and a half taller than you. And it is adorned with some very strange armor, a full glass visor, and like a complete head covering with actual pointed elf ears coming off the side of it with little small antennas, and then a full body armor that does not seem to have any hollow spots on it. There's no spots where skin is showing. This is what we would call the equivalent of what we would call a spacesuit sort of armor. He is completely covered head to toe. Although through the visor you can just see the outline of very elvish features. It's very crystal clear visor. And the voice that comes out of this speaks in a form of High Elven that you have never heard before, almost as if, like, you were used to talking to somebody that spoke with an Irish accent, and then suddenly you met someone that was speaking Gaelic. Like, you recognize it as Elfish, but you're like, I have no clue what he's saying. And he repeats this message a few times, and then he stops, sort of gets like a kind of dismissive or annoyed look on his face, and begins speaking in what you recognize as High Elf tongue. He says, I am Captain Airyainth Tibwent III with the Imperial Elf Armada. I would bid ye to pull over at the nearest planet for a routine inspection. Please comply.
This is in Elvish, which Airyainth understands. Is that right?
Yeah, this is in High Elfish, so she understands it now. It's just, it went from being like almost like a dialect that was very complex and complicated to like a more what you would understand of being Elfish.
You understand that gobbledygook, Airyainth?
Yes.
What do they want?
They want to inspect our ship, which I don't know about you, but I'm not keen on.
Maggie says, I can pass tongues and communicate if you'd like.
If you wish to pass it so that you can communicate as well, go ahead, but it's probably best if I speak with them, as elves can be rather haughty with non-elves.
I don't think you're going to be able to do a ship-to-ship battle with them, though.
Yeah, like you guys could land your ship on their ship, basically.
Maggie gives Airyainth guidance and basically just offers to, if she can put her persuasion check or whatever alongside Airyainth and anything.
These guys give us any trouble? Looks like Reggie's getting a bigger ship.
Yeah, you guys are already on something that is, will comfortably fit 200 or so people on, I believe. So say that this thing is huge. It's like a floating, maybe not city, but like a floating town, essentially.
Are we already on planet, or are we floating around a planet yet right now?
You guys are headed towards the planet. You are essentially just outside of its atmosphere. And yet, so far, they seem to have spotted you and, messaged you, but they are not, zipping towards you or anything. They literally just, it's basically like the cop pulled up behind you on the curb and honked its horn and spun its lights once.
Reggie, if we get down to the planet, can you hide us?
Says, well, I've detected some rather large metal deposits in those mountains. Seems there's a large cave in one of the hillsides there. I might be able to tuck us in there.
All right. Go slow and act like you're going to comply with what they're asking, and we will do the same. And when we're close enough, get us out of here.
Yeah, Reggie, fly casual.
Right, playing it cool.
Open up a channel.
Right, the channel flicks to life. He says, so you are intelligent beings. You can communicate. Good. We weren't quite sure. The scanners didn't show any forms of higher intelligence on your ship. And he sort of smirks a little bit.
Wait. What is your jurisdiction into this area? Why do you wish to board our ship?
He begins laughing. He's like, oh my, you planet-dwelling bumpkins, the first time you're out on a joyride, and it's like this Every time. Haven't I told you that? Ratio. He looks over at one of his, the other fellows you see behind him on the screen. Maybe a little off screen. That guy just you just see a thumbs up. He's like, yes, of course. Well, anyway, my jurisdiction, as you so put it, dear, is, I am a lieutenant in the Astral Armada. I am charged with keeping this area of space clear of all deviant life forms, undesirables, people who would sully, he says, the reputation of our astral domain. Surely they must have told tales of your great spacefaring cousins on that little bumpkin planet, wherever it is that you come from.
Clearly, it wasn't of much interest to us to do so. Sir, we really have no time for this, and we must be on. But if you truly wish to see that we have nothing to hide, so be it. Give us a moment to find the best place to land.
Yes. I think not, he says, and snaps his fingers. And as he snaps his fingers, 3 more of these ships blip in directly behind your ship. One of them immediately fires what appears to be some sort of a large ray, and instantly Reggie's alarm bells begin going off, and he says, they've got us caught in a tractor beam! Turbulence, 2 times! And the screen shakes.
Oh, fuck.
Reggie says, there may yet be a chance for you to escape, Miss Airyainth. Ibn Nab did tell me about something that they've invented here, just in case of this sort of scenario. He says, I believe that if I put all of my energy into jamming directly towards this planet, I may be able to, if not pull us out of their tractor beam, at least pull them down into the planet with us. Nib? Nib comes clanging up to you like, you were kind of like, what the fuck? You were working on that cloaking device thing. He says, oh, so, Reggie, you decided that the parachutes were a good idea then, eh? He says, yes, please, equip each of them with one. And, Reggie begins doing some beeps and boops, and he says, I believe it would be wisest, in this situation, for me to, perhaps partake in this adventure myself, if for no other reason than they may find the ship, but I'd rather they didn't find the crew.
I don't want them to have you, Reggie.
Aye, aye, Captain, and I'm glad of that. He says, just say the order, and I'll tell the crew to abandon ship. We can always find it later, or, as Tohan put it, find me a bigger one.
Wait, so
Reggie,
how does it...
Reggie's giant clockwork titan comes clanging up from below deck, and he says,
oh, that's right, good.
As it were, I'm quite ready to go. And you see that this clockwork titan actually has what appears to be a very large, like, duffel bag-sized backpack on its back. Meanwhile, the crew is scrambling as Reggie has already begun the process of getting the ship evacuated. These pirates, former pirates, now simply explorers, if you will, are clearly pretty versed in moving large quantities of things in short periods of time, as things are being packed into kind of large lifeboat-looking vessels. They are literally just tying chests of goods, food, all sorts of things, and several of them kind of look up, awaiting your order.
All right. I don't care if they take the ship, but they damn sure aren't getting any of us. Is everybody in the party? Is everybody agreeable to this?
So the idea is we're all abandoning ship, or just the crew is abandoning ship?
Well, I think Reggie makes it clear that he has a plan to get you safely to the ground with these parachute contraptions.
All of us, or just the crew? I mean, all the whole party.
Yeah, everybody that's on the ship. Like you kind of look and you realize that a lot of these cargo things that they're tying up, they have giant like these duffels are going on top of them.
Where's Ashnak?
Ashnak is still below decks right now. He has not come back up.
Yeah, if the crew is leaning towards doing that, then Maggie will run below and tell Ashnak that's the plan.
Right. When you run into the lower chambers wherein you find Ashnak, he is loaded to the nines. He's carrying his giant like bazooka thing that he carries around. He's got a pair of rifles strapped to his back, a couple of sidearms, and he is now in his full like battle regalia. So it looks like a military like engineer's cap, but it's also made out of like metal and shit. It's all armor reinforced. His combat fatigues have little like armor plates on them.
So Maggie tells him, "I'm glad you're ready. Come with us. We're gonna get off the ship and get to ground."
Right. Reggie sent me the plan, but there's only one thing. I'm the contingency. You folks go on ahead. I'll make sure these astral sons of bitches don't have anything to fucking find.
Maggie says, "Let's take everything they would have to find with us."
Oh, don't worry. I intend to.
We'll take it down to the planet, Ashnak. This is the commander's plan.
Right. One thing I know about new commanders. Sometimes they don't see the big picture. Don't you worry, little lady. Chaplain. We'll meet again. And he grabs his own duffel bag, puts it on over the top of his rifles and things. He says, I'll see you real soon. Real soon. Now, keep in mind, you guys are still at, like, atmosphere level. He kicks a cargo door off the side of the ship and jumps out. And you see him just go headfirst down towards his planet from, like, 1.5 miles up. 2, 3 miles. I don't know. Where's the stratosphere at? 6 miles?
Does he look okay doing so? I mean, he doesn't, like, immediately...
Yeah, he didn't, like, freeze to death and die immediately. He's fighting Agaku. He's a tough son of a bitch. I don't want to tell you guys how many hit points he has. It's a lot.
Glad he's on our side.
Yeah.
I just figured out plot armor.
That's a really magical weapon.
Alright, Maggie goes above deck and says Ashnak's taken care of. She doesn't want Tohan to get any ideas.
Alright, so the next few minutes are a blur. Assuming that you give the order for the crew to go off ship,
if everybody's in agreement, yeah.
Sure.
Tohan?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so the second that the crew begins to shove cargo and things off the ship, and the ship makes a steep descent into the atmosphere to where you are now, the ship itself is plummeting and people are basically throwing themselves sideways off from it, and just falling next to it, because you can't fall any faster as a big ship than you can as a little person, really. If anything, the ship has slightly more drag. So these people are going over the side on these sort of like makeshift sleds, holding on to them, some people letting go. And you begin to see parachutes open, and they sort of are grouping off. And beneath you, you see the landscape rising up, and it appears to be a very forested area, several like mountain ranges, and that's sort of where you're pointed, is towards the base of one of these mountain ranges. And as you are all about to jump, you look back and see that Reggie's plan seems to be going the latter way that he said it could go. He is literally tugboating one of these things that is got the tractor beam on him closer into the planet with him. And as this ship's falling, his communication device is still going off, and it still has an open channel on it. and you can hear the lieutenant of the Astral Elves barking what can only be construed as obscenities in his really high elf language, and he is absolutely outraged. Like, you know, he's having the same reaction that a cop would have if you pulled over and when they took your license you took off. When you go to jump, there is a bright flash, and then you wake up. You are on the edge of a forest glade. You are not in possession of your weapons or your armor. It is only the four of you that you can see. The ship is nowhere in sight, and it is nearing dusk. It is getting dimmer. And as you all begin to kind of groan awake, you look around and you realize that surrounding you are several dozen of these Astral Elves. One of them being the lieutenant. Your feet and hands are all bound, and as you come to your senses, you detect what the lieutenant is saying to you, Airyainth. So you thought you could run, eh? Well, little did you fools know that you were running directly into an Astral Elf penal colony. The damn planet you were trying to land on. It's full of our prisoners. You non-spacefaring elves are... Oh, you give us a bad name, I swear, you country bumpkins. He barks some order in Ultra-High Elf to several of the others, and they begin you forward on a short march through this kind of forested glade. And you have no memory of how you got here. All you remember seeing is a bright flash of light, and suddenly there's the four of you. After maybe like a 15 or 20 minute walk through this glade, you are brought in front of what appears to be a large walled area, with a large portcullis entrance that is standing open. And these Astral Elves have all of you sort of grouped together. They begin marching you through this area, and as they do, you see that there are many of these Astral Elves in the hallways.
Does my mental channel allow me to communicate with Reggie?
You reach out and you get no response. It would seem that either Reggie is too far away or unable, for whatever reason, to answer your request.
Does my magic feel like it's been shackled or anything?
You get, like, you maybe try to do a little prestidigitation to clean off your robes or something, and you realize very quickly that as you attempt to do any sort of magic, it is quickly sort of snuffed out, as though you were in the presence of some sort of magic dampening field. You guys are in quite dire straits at the moment, it would seem.
Dun, dun, dun.
You are marched down a long corridor, past another large portcullis. Let's see, Maggie, roll me a perception check.
Okay. $16 altogether.
Okay, so as you are walking by, you can hear loud snarls and snaps and all kinds of strange noises coming from within. You look and get a brief glimpse of what appears to be some sort of a gargoyle-like creature through one of the grates. You don't outright recognize any of the other creatures that are in these prison cells, but the gargoyle is familiar to you as you've seen quite a few of them in your travels. The only other thing that you notice is one of the cells has kind of a it has this large bucket in one corner that you can only assume must be like what they use for the loo, and a rat comes crawling up over the top of the inside of the bucket, plops onto the floor, and scurries away quickly, giving you the indication that perhaps this is not a particularly nice environment to be in.
I asked the guards where they're taking us.
They bark something back at you in High Elfin, and then one of them kind of slaps the other one on the arm, says something and laughs, and then looks, and in a very, like, poor version of Wood Elf, looks at you and says, "Shut up! You meet the warden."
Airyainth is content with that. She wanted to get to someone in command.
All right. You proceed through another set of portcullises. Oh, look, they open and close. Clonk. Now I'm trying to close it. No, it doesn't want to close. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you guys enter through this, and you're led through a really large circular grass yard. It has a tree in it, and like a table set up with maybe like a dragon chessboard on it. And then straight across through to what appears to be a large kind of squarish building with a couple of floors to it. And you are led up into... Tabletop Simulator to work with me and not against me here. You are led into a office that is dimly lit with a small desk in it. And there you meet with a fairly well-dressed, I suppose you would say, well-emblemized Astral Elf, who is sitting at the desk looking over some paperwork. Sort of looks up at you when you come in, waves the other guards away, so there's the four of you in the room with him. And he says, "So, you're the four that decided to run from Lieutenant... yes, yeah, I know that fellow. You decided to run from the good lieutenant, and you chose to run here. Well, this should be interesting. What is your story?" he says.
And he's speaking in High Elf or Common?
He is speaking in, like, yeah, I would say High Elf still. Like, it seems like the more important members of this astral society would be using something like a High Elf.
And I can understand him?
Yeah, you can understand him.
Okay. We are on a mission of great importance, and I just did not have time to deal with bureaucracy. I was unaware of the ways of this sector.
To deal with our bureaucracy. That shows great contempt for the law, miss. Surely you would know that the Astral Elves are, if nothing else, the greatest...
Please, sir, are you familiar with the world tree?
Yes, Yggdrasil connects many of the spheres together.
And I use my utmost sincerest art of persuasion when I say this. It is he who knows of what we are trying to do. We are trying to fix the rift in the weave of magic. Mistra implores upon me to do this. This is why I did not have time to deal with other people. And I try with my hardest way to persuade him.
Tohan's trying to break out of his bonds. Like, he sees that it's kind of more like this would be like a better spot, so he's trying to, because he can't understand a word anyone's saying.
Yep. Okay, so Tohan, roll me a strengths check DC 25 on this to break the chains. Airyainth, roll me a persuasion check with disadvantage, DC 20, to convince this guy that you shouldn't have to listen to the law.
I'm just trying to. All right, can I continue on with him to say, please, if you have any way of contacting the World Tree, he would tell you how dire our need is.
Yeah, just roll that persuasion check for me at disadvantage.
18.
Okay, so he kind of looks at you and gives a shake. He says, if every warden of the Astral Elves on every planet contacted Yggdrasil every time someone said that they had a mission from a god, do you know how busy that we would be keeping the lines? Tohan, what did you roll?
Roll the 19.
Okay, so you struggle and strain against these things, but you are unable to snap them. Venadia must be kind of stunned right now because she's just standing there.
Maggie's feeling kind of useless because she's tried to catch cat's tongues and felt that like magic resistance. Tried to cast guidance, felt that magic resistance, and so she's just kind of like quietly praying to Hestia for help.
I ask him, what can I do to convince you? I am the avatar of Mistra. Is there anything I can do to at least allow you to check what I may say is true?
He begins kind of chuckling to himself and says, yes, you can go before the judge in 3 days when he gets here. Till then, you'll be relinquished to our jurisdiction. You will become our prisoners, and if the judge sees you fit to let free to go, then he will let you go. It is not my call. I am not above the law. I am merely doing my job here. Well, that being said, and he snaps his fingers, and these 4 guards pile back in, and they begin to escort you all out. And as the evening draws in, you are brought. The problem with big maps. You are brought back to the yard. Oh, why would I not like that? You guys know what it looks like. Let's get that out of there. Makes a little bit more room. You are brought back into the yard where you are separated. Let's see. So, Maggie and Airyainth, or I'm sorry, Venadia and Airyainth, we will say, are escorted out through what we will call the west door. Tohan, you are brought back through the south door by a guard. And Maggie, you are brought through the east door. You are each placed into a cell, which I'll see if I can do really quickly. Yeah. Plonk. Airyainth, once you guys get in here, you are led to one cell on the north side, and Venadia is led to a different one, so you are led away from each other. So all 4 of you are now separated. What did I not do? Tohan. Tohan, when you walk into the small southeast room, you are instantly met by a cacophony of sounds, including several voices that call out to you in both Draconic, Common, some of them saying, "Oh, fresh meat." Others saying, "Hey there, pretty boy, I like the way your scales look." And you are placed into an empty cell next to what appears to be an incubus, and on the other side of you is what appears to be a mind flayer, although his skin and face show signs of rot and decay, almost as if he were undead. That guy was locked.
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore the taunts for now, but I'm gonna also keep an eye on who's saying what and start like searching around my cell
Okay.
to see if there's anything I can use.
Uh, yeah. So roll me an investigation check. As long as it's not super low. I think.
13.
Okay. So you, yeah, as soon as the guard walks away, you begin immediately, like, kind of eyeballing your counterparts that are in the cells next to you. In the cell behind you, you can actually see through the bars a few feet away as they're spaced out. A mantis-like creature that you remember being a thrycreen. I believe you guys had met some for a brief excursion through perhaps the Anarok Desert. I think right before you encountered your miniaturized parents. Um, and yeah, you search around, and this particular cell has no cot. It is literally just a bare floor, and you are fairly certain you are in what is the equivalent of a maximum security wing. It seems like perhaps they thought you were the most dangerous of the group. And as you search around, you do find a kind of loose cobblestone in the floor that you're able to pry up. And underneath that cobblestone is a small, like, hollowed out catch with what appears to be a leather flask. You kind of pull the stopper on it and give it a quick sniff, and it smells like a really awful wine. Like someone was making, like, jail wine.
Some Pruno.
Maggie, you are led to a cell where you're kind of surprised because many of the people who are wandering around here seem to be kind of roaming free. They do not seem to be necessarily like in their cages, although the several of the guards are starting to yell in the high elvish and kind of chasing prisoners into their cells as they walk by. So it must be time for lockup. You are placed in the cell when the door is closed, and all around you, you can see sort of what appear to be cells decorated in holy decorum. And as you are marched into this area, the first thing that you would have seen would have been this large temple-like structure. It appears that you've been placed into an area that is for parishioners of various faiths, as it were. It seems to be the religious sector of the prison. Perhaps there is some importance in that, you think. Airyainth and Venedia are both sort of placed into what you might think of as like a generalized population. There are just kind of humans, there's orcs, there's all manner of people. You even, you do notice Airyainth as you are placed in your cell. In one of the cells that you are walked by, there appears to be a drow, although you are uncertain as to whether or not that drow was one of your crew members or not. But you do make a mental note to try to find them come morning time. And of course, nobody knows what happens to Venedia because she's locked in the cell and you guys aren't there. The night passes. And
Can we call it a long rest?
Yes, you absolutely can call it a long rest. So
Maggie's off. Send a request for help to Estia before going to sleep. Or I guess try to, with not with the spell, but with your what is it called? Divine intervention.
Okay, and that's
So it's as an action, you request your deity's aid, request and roll percentile die. If it's equal or less than 14, deity intervenes. DM chooses the nature of intervention, and that's like a feature.
okay. Go ahead and roll your D100.
14% chance. Here we go.
Well, roll the 7.
Whoa.
Okay. So you're kind of laying there for a few hours, and it's getting dark, and you, as you're kind of contemplating this, and you're thinking about all the things that you've done for Hestia, you have like this epiphanous moment, and you, whereas other people might begin to question their faith, yours becomes renewed. It is quite literally like the feeling of a warm baked loaf of bread kind of fills your nostrils, and that like good feeling you get from knowing someone has a full stomach comes to you. And in the middle of the night, you hear clink, and it comes from the door of the cell that you are in. As you get up to inspect the door, you realize that the door is open. It is unlocked. Like, it seems like the latch just miraculously popped open. This will, however, make you not have a long rest if you are attempting to do this, if you do anything about this. Just be aware.
Yeah, she kind of gives fervent thanks to Hestia, and then kind of scopes the area, sees like, is there a patrol of guards, or like, what's she going to be dealing with?
Okay, so you poke your head out into the hallway, and you see, it seems as though everyone in the place is pretty much soundly sleeping, although there's a few like murmured conversations going on somewheres, you can't quite tell where. And yeah, as you look around, you don't see any guards in sight. The way to back towards the temple seems fairly clear, although you're not quite sure what you'll see when you get there. Like,
is the temple towards the, like, where she split off from the others?
Yeah, I mean, like, it would be back the way you came in from.
Okay, so yeah, she's doing this very cautiously. The fortunate part of not having armor is she doesn't have that stealth disadvantage anymore, but she's just very cautiously making her way.
Okay, so roll me a stealth check real quick. And yeah, you don't have the disadvantage on it. Let's see.
Nice, 16.
Okay, so you walk successfully past rows of cells filled with various creatures, mostly humanoids, a few that are maybe questionable in their humanoidism, all of which, though, you notice more and more of this, seem to have these different symbols or little statuettes in their cells. They all seem to have some sort of a religious iconography, some of which you recognize and some you don't. And you begin to make your way back towards the temple, which is when a hand shoots out from one of the cells and grasps your arm lightly, not in like a threatening manner, but just kind of touches your arm. Whispers, "Hold, mother."
She does so.
The guards may see you. Please, I would warn you, if they catch you out at night, they will not take kindly to you. They may move you in with the other prisoners. You look upon this prisoner, and you see what appears to be a maybe roughly 65-year-old human male, dressed in the clothes of a ragtag sailor of some sort. He's got long, kind of bright red hair that's curly, and he's got bright green eyes that shine in the reflection of the torchlight around you. He's only about 5'2", but he looks like a stocky fellow who's worked his whole life, and he has kind of a round, unremarkable face with a kind of short, stubbly beard. You see on his wall is a large symbol surrounded in flames, and he sees you looking at it, and he says, "My patron, Kasuth, god of fire. He purifies all. He's kind, courageous. Looks at you and he says, I do not recognize your faith. Who do you worship?
She says, "My lady Hestia is the goddess of the hearth. We're in good company here."
Says, yes, fire and the hearth. That's something, isn't it? Please, I need to tell you something. I don't belong in here. I was sent to this planet to gather information on a certain organization that it harbors tiefling fugitives, refugees, if you will, from various spots in the multiverse, and it relocates them to a place called Kalia, somewheres in one of the long-forgotten spheres of this strange plane of existence. Do you know of anything?
Maggie says, "I've been there, and I've been among them."
So it's true. They've made their way to freedom. That is good. My patron will be very happy. And he sort of like slumps down as though he's like relieved to hear this news. And he says, what a strange coincidence that would bring you to a place like this to meet a man like me. Could it be fate? Could it be the will of Kasuth? Perhaps the will of Hestia, he says. Either way, I would bid that you return to your cell this night, Mother. We may talk more on the morrow during our exercise time in the yard.
She thanks him for the word of warning, and just gives essentially a quick recap that we're also not meant to be here. We're here on a quest to undo the evil that's spreading throughout the universe, and that I fear has followed Kalia and everything on Turil. The small acts of good that we do are being wiped out if we can't unite to push back this wave of evil. And these Astral Elves seem to, are preventing us in that. Do you know anything about them that might help us continue on as quickly as we can?
Says only that they are observers of the purest law. They do not abide by chaos. Listen to their rules and their objectives, and you'll do fairly well in here. I've done okay, but it is hard being a force of chaos contained by the will of law.
Have you heard anything that suggests that they know that Orcus, the demon of chaos, is crossing the multiverse?
No, they haven't mentioned anything about any demon. Well, I have heard rumors that they've got a Balor sealed up in the maximum security wing, but I don't know how true it is. None of us ever go there. It's a place I would not want to be. So as he says that, it cuts back over to Tohan really quick. And Tohan, you are in your cell, and probably at the same time that Maggie hears a clink, you hear a clink. And it is the cell door opening. However, you hear several clinks, as though perhaps certain other doors were opened.
Yeah, I poke my head out and look around. I'm looking for guards, basically.
Oh, you're really strong, Tohan. You just picked up that whole thing. Let me pick up the cell and move it. So yeah, you poke your head out, and again, you do not see any guards present. You are just in kind of a closed room with cells all around you, and regardless of there not being any guards, these are locked. Oh, 'cause I changed it to that. That's why. When you look out, you do see what appears to be a large troll poking his head out of the cell, similar to what you are, and he looks at you for a moment, and he puts one long gnarled finger up to his lips and makes a motion as though to say, shh. He continues to kind of look around too afterwards. He's not just focused on you. He keeps an eye on you, but...
Yeah, is that the way that I came in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk past him.
Okay. He kind of sneers his lip at you just a little bit as you walk up and you're within a few feet of him. And he looks at you and he says, "Well, new fish, it seems as though we've got the luck tonight, don't we? So, how do you think we can get out of here?"
Well, came in that way. Pretty sure we can leave that way.
It's bound to be barred up tighter than a maiden's bunghole in here. We can try. With your strength and mine, perhaps we can bend the bars. But what if the guard's on the other side?
Maybe we can bend them too.
Yes. Nah. You both begin heading over to where you saw the portcullis on the other side. You do pass what appears to be... Let me get it to highlight. No, I can't.
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong cell. Thought I had one open that had a creature in it here. We'll say that you notice as you walk by, one of the cells seems to contain a cape that is flapping about on its own. It is some sort of an animated cape.
Weird.
It sort of reaches a tendril out towards you through the bars and flaps a little bit.
Hold on, buddy. See if these guys have keys.
Right. So you reach the portcullis, and as you look out, you can see the shadows of two of these Astral Elves sort of just walking by, and they pass by, not noticing you. I know you can't see the portcullis, but it is there.
I believe it.
Yeah. So there's just some straight iron bars between you and the hallway that you were originally entered into this prison from. The troll suggests that you do your best to perhaps bend those bars. So if you would like to do so, you may do so by rolling me a strength check with advantage due to the assistance from the troll. The DC on it is going to be 18 to bend steel bars.
Uh, 24.
Okay, so yeah, you take a bar and the troll takes a bar, and you put your feet against his foot, and you both pull in opposite directions, and slowly but surely the bars just begin to give way. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
15. Oh wait, that's not. Yeah, it's the same.
Okay. So just as the bars are about to snap, you can feel the tension starting to let go on them, and you tell the troll, enough, enough. And you and the troll both kind of look at the now newly formed exit in the middle of this portcullis, and the troll says, "You're smaller. You go first."
All right, you get through. I'll take the one on the far. You take the closest one.
Been a while since I had a good meal. So he just waits for you to step through this opening here.
Yeah, I'm gonna rage and step through.
Nice. Okay, so you step through. He steps through, and let's see. Rather than having those guys roll a reaction, I'm gonna have you roll a stealth check. Just a straight stealth check, no disadvantage or anything, because these guards were facing the opposite way. So if you make it, you are going to get a surprise round. If not, then they are going to notice you and we'll just roll initiative.
I rolled a natural 20 for a 28.
Okay, so you are going to get a surprise round, but I'm going to cut over to Airyainth for a moment. If you want, you can roll initiative. Airyainth, you, only needing 4 hours of rest, can choose to either stay up until you need to rest, or you can rest and then wake up and do things early. Which would you prefer to do?
I rest and then wake up.
Okay. So you rest for a few hours. You manage to get a what is the equivalent of a full night's sleep for you. And you are awake well before any of the prisoners around you are. So you have some time to observe the people that are nearby.
Can I also look around? I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I also look around my cell while I have the chance as well, see if I notice anything?
Yes, absolutely you can. My cat's got the zoomies. Just sprinted past me.
I heard it.
Scroll up my list of random events. So the one really obvious thing you notice is that although most of the cells around you contain people who are asleep, the one directly across from you, we'll say right here, has a person in it. Let's see which type of person. There appears to be some sort of a halfling in the cell across from you, and he seems to be imbibing something secretively. He sort of looks over and sees you looking at him, and quickly tries to tuck some sort of a cup away under his robes, and scowls at you in what's probably meant to be menacingly, but just comes across as kind of startled and maybe like embarrassed that he got caught doing something.
I just kind of raise an eyebrow and yawn and just make a gesture like I could care less what he's doing.
So you search about your cell, and you, as you're searching around, suddenly you hear from the floor beneath you, thunk, 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 and a end of a spoon pokes up through the floor, dislodging a small piece of cobblestone. And you can hear kind of quiet chuckling. He's going, "I've finally done it! I've finally done it!" And you see an eyeball poke, like looking up at you from the floor.
Hello?
Yeah! Who's there? Damn!
What are they speaking common?
Yeah, he's speaking like just regular old common. You hear a few more taps, and the cobblestone on the floor sort of gives way a little bit more, and up through maybe like a 10-inch hole in the floor pulls himself the most sinewy, like skinny old man in just absolute rags for clothes. He is completely gaunt. His skin is just barely hanging on his bones, and he's holding a large kind of metal, really rough spoon that he has clearly been digging with. His hands and his face are covered in filth and dirt. And he says, "Damn! Damn! I was supposed to make it to the yard! Ah! I've been digging this tunnel for 7 years and I come up in the wrong spot? No!" He looks at you and he goes, "This is some sort of trickery. Did the warden put you up to this?" And he's holding his spoon pointed at you in a threatening manner.
I just raise my head and be like, hey, I have no idea what's going on. I just got here.
Ah, well, no good crying about it now, I suppose. Tis a pleasure to meet you. My name is Rowan. Rowan Mistsplitter.
I am Airyainth of Grimwood.
Would that be the Grimwood of Middle-earth, the Grimwood of Tyrell, or the Grimwood of the Farlands?
Tyrell, you know your worlds.
I know my Grimwoods, yes.
Where do you hail from?
He says, well, it's a long story, really. Oh, I guess it's not a very long story. I don't remember. Ha! Ha ha! And he sort of like lets out a little laugh. He says, you see, I was brought here for crimes that I didn't commit. Well, I mean, I did, but I didn't really. You see? And he holds up this small kind of opalescent gemstone on a string around his neck. He says, This is my blessing and my curse.
What is it?
You see, every month, when the moon rains full, I become a were-platypus.
What sort of creature is that?
He looks at you and he's like, like one of those things with the big tails and the beaks that looks kind of like a duck's, but that's not the point. I'm very mean when I turn into one, and they accuse me of killing some people, but it wasn't my fault. I'm just an animal when I change. I was cursed by an old man.
Why were you cursed?
I was very hungry one day, and I saw a pie cooling on a window of a hut. I thought to myself, I deserve that pie as much as anyone, and I took the pie and I ate the pie, and when I was done, I fell asleep behind the barn, and when I awoke, this old man was standing over me. He said that any thief such as me deserved a punishment befitting something like that, and he had already placed this gem around my neck, and no matter what I try, I can't seem to sever the cord or remove the gem. I'm cursed to be like this forever.
Have you ever had somebody else try to remove it?
He sort of looks at you for a minute. He's like, that's not a half bad idea.
Did the guards try to remove it when you were brought here?
Oh, yes, certainly. They told me that I had to give it up, and I said, please feel free to take it. And they yanked and cut and pulled and prodded and even threatened to cut my head off to remove it, and I told them, please, by all means. Instead,
so it has been tried.
Yes, instead they just threw me in a cell. That was 7, 8 years ago, perhaps? Ah, but I'm wily. I stole a spoon from the mess hall, you see. I've been digging. These long 7 years digging. Soon, soon. I must be close to the yard by now, and once I get to the yard, I should be able to scale the walls with no problem. Especially with my fanged feet. You see, the full moon is coming near. Should be any minute now. He looks up. But I need to be outside.
How many tunnels do you have around this building?
He starts counting on his fingers. Looks down at his toes, and he's wiggling his toes. I don't know. I can't count past 8.
Are your tunnels big enough to fit me?
Yes, you're not too large. I think you'd fit.
Do you have a tunnel to where they keep the weapons and armor they collect from people?
Oh, into the barracks? Yes, that was my first escape attempt. The guard that caught me was none too pleased. Couldn't figure out how I got in there. Ha! They never found the tunnel, though. At least I don't think they did.
How well guarded is it?
Says, well, my dear, it's barracks. So literally where they keep the guards.
Fair enough.
So let's see. Maggie, I'm going to cut back to you. Now, did you return to your cell, or did you kind of, are you still, like, trying to go whatever way you were going to go?
Well, she's still curious. She's trying to find out anything she can about the Astral Elves from this guy. But she's also, I guess, like, a main question, she's like, why is it that I cannot access the power of my lady here?
So, he explains to you that it seems like the Astral Elves have developed some sort of a system to essentially, in the confines of the prison, dampen the effects of magic. He says he has seen prisoners be able to pull off a few small things here and there, but usually they are just simply outnumbered by the number of elves that possess, advanced weaponry and things like that. As far as the elves themselves, he tells you that on my page in the Astro Menagerie, he tells you that the Astral Elves are rumored to exist almost infinitely throughout the universe. That they have sort of taken on this role of universal police force, or universal, like, kind of peacekeeping force, as it were. And though they do, in fact, at times do some good, such as stopping a wave of goblinoids from completely destroying entire systems, they also have their, downside too, as in, if you are not a lawful creature, then essentially to them you are useless. You're kind of cannon fodder. Like, you can die and they don't care. He tells you that they live much longer than planet-bound elves, and that there are several different kind of classes of these guys. There's, like, the high-end, like, aristocrats. There are military commanders. There are honor guards. They even have their own sort of priests. And that they are considered to be some of the most efficient spell-jamming spacefaring races, or one of the most like spell jamming spacefaring races out there. Like they're the best at it. They are known for their incredible ships and their ability to track targets throughout space across many of the crystal spheres.
As far as she can tell, like, I think he described himself or his god as chaotic. What sense is she getting of his alignment? Does it seem good?
He doesn't seem like a bad fellow.
So I guess she tries a little, like, asking about his god and, like, I get a sense of, is his god at all good aligned?
Yeah, he tells you that, his version of a fire god, Kashun, is not one of, although he can be one of great destruction, he is also one of warmth and life. Without the fires of the sun, the life of the planets wouldn't exist, that sort of thing, like that sort of sermon speak. It is very much in line with your beliefs from Hestia of kind of like the warmth of a fire is something very familiar to you, through that.
Yeah. So she's getting chaotic neutral.
Yeah, chaotic neutral, chaotic good.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's not going to go into the whole Rada 7 parts thing, but she'll at least let him know what's happening as far as Orcus and Vecna, and that they're in a position to stop this, and basically just asks what do you think is the quickest way we can get out, and is it worth trying to convince the Astral Elves, or are we looking at a sneak or fight situation?
He says, the elves are not without reasoning or capabilities. Perhaps if you can convince them, but what evidence of a demon such as Orcus, who is known throughout the multiverse, can you provide them with to prove that he is in fact chasing you? There must be something.
The Astral Elves told us that we would see the judge in 3 days. We can't wait 3 days, and we recognize that their insane devotion to laws, might keep them from listening. Do you know of any instances where, somebody's appealed to them directly, or any way around that insane devotion to law?
Nay, unfortunately, they stick quite strictly to their code of ethics. They are formidable opponents as well, even not including their anti-magic field, if you will. But it is, much like anything, I suppose, possible that you could convince one of them that you have to be let go. I wouldn't hold my breath, though, dear.
And the last question she has is, what is this wing? Why is there it seems to be a cleric wing or a faith wing?
I can't say for certain, but it seems that clerical magic has they seem to have slightly less of a grasp over the powers of the divine, as it were. So they must have some specialty magic keeping our cleric powers in check in this section. Perhaps one of their sorcerers or wizards has devised some sort of mechanism to dampen divine power, but perhaps they can't keep it over the whole prison as they do their corruption of magic. I know. I have always been kept in this section since I came here a few months ago.
She thanks him and tells him if my lady has to let me out, then she desires me to be out. And if anybody asks, I'm sleepwalking, and then continues on.
Be well, mother. I shall tell my faithful of your deity as well.
Thank you.
Right, and so you continue on, and you get to the end of the cell block here, and as you come around the corner, you can kind of see. You can ignore all these people. I just locked them into place, so there's nobody there right now. But you can see the temple looming in the distance, and it seems as though there is perhaps a light on inside. As you approach the temple, you kind of are, I'm assuming, still being stealthy as you can.
Yep.
Roll me another stealth check. Make sure that nobody notices you. What do you guys think of the lighting effects, too, by the way, on this?
Pretty
Cool.
dope.
Like, it took me a couple of minutes, but I figured out that if I just shrunk a candle really, really, really small and stuck it on each one of your minis,
Nice.
and turn the lights way down, it makes it super spooky.
She managed to 10 this time.
Okay, so you do not immediately see anybody around. But at some point, perhaps like your foot scuffs or something, you kick like a loose stone, stub your toe or something, and you make a little noise. Kind of pause for a minute, look around. And as you head past the dais of the temple, kind of examining it for any other clues about this strange prison you guys are in, when you look inside, you can see that within the temple, it just appears to be kind of a large open area. There's probably some church pews and an altar in here. Again, this was the rushed part where I was like, shit, I need an indoors for the temple. But yeah, as you look, a familiar sight does catch your eye. You notice something about the outside of this. Perhaps some little detail of architecture or something, but it reminds you distinctly of the other temples that you've seen in your search for these words of power. And it leads you to believe that perhaps this prison was actually built on one of these temples. So yeah, you can see off to the west is where the yard is. There's a portcullis that is closed. And to the south lies just a large wall. I don't know if you can actually see it because that is very dark. And in the south end of the courtyard is a large statue. He's fun. He looks like this. Rawr.
If there's like a little out of the way fire and anything organic that she can put on it, she's gonna do a little, like, thanks to Hestia, just ritual, and kind of choose the most out of the way, out of sight way to get towards where she thinks the others might be.
Okay. So yeah, you head down and stop at this statue where other offerings have been laid. You probably find like a small bundle of sage or something that's just laying there, and you can kind of find some. There's probably like some sort of a tinder device there, like a little sparker or something to get things like that lit for ceremonial purposes, and you get that fired up, and you begin to head kind of around the area, and you realize the only way out of this area seems to be through this portcullis back into the yard. I'm going to cut now to Tohan. Tohan, you and the Spirit Troll are now free to take bonus action attacks. And I'll say you go first because the spiritual rolled low.
Yeah, I rolled a 14 on my initiative earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, I like I was saying before, I'm gonna go for the far one, the one on the left there, and just like kind of bum rush him, and see if I can like take a weapon out of his hand.
All right. So just roll me an unarmed attack. With advantage because this guy is clueless that you are there.
$27.
Okay, so yeah, you literally walk up behind him, and I would even say you can brain the guy with his own weapon. Like you literally like he's just walking and he's got like a sword and a scabbard, and you can walk up behind him and just take the sword out and just knock his ass out right off the bat.
Okay, is it just like a short sword or?
It is. What is it? A scimitar.
All right, I definitely can't use that as a great weapon master.
It is a scimitar. It is at +1 to hit and +2 for damage. The troll following right behind you, as you are knocking this guy on the head, the troll grabs this other guy. Yep. And promptly begins to chew on him. Literally distending his jaw and shoving his whole head down, like his whole mouth over this guy's head so he can't scream, and just immediately begins like trying to swallow the guy whole like a fucking crazy anaconda. You do hear from behind you, "Stop you there!" And 2 more of these guards that were patrolling the other end of the hallway, that are, I don't know how far away from you, about 55 feet or so away from you. They begin charging towards you. 4, 5, 6, so they get about that far. So now they're probably 25, 30 feet away from you or so. So your initiative was a 14, Trolls was only a 6. We will say that 2 guards have been eliminated. Those 2 guards got a 2. So Tohan, you're gonna go first, then one of the guards is gonna go, then the other one of the guards is gonna go, and then the troll is gonna go.
Okay. Yeah, I run up and recklessly attack with my scimitar.
Okay.
$20 to hit him.
That hits.
$15 damage.
Okay. The scimitar slices across the guy's kind of chainmail, skips off the top and probably cuts him across like the top part of his shoulder and throat a little bit. He steps back.
I attack him again. It was a 28 to hit, and I did another 15 damage.
Okay. So this particular elf is now. I'll just double check this really quick. He is now bloodied. And is that your turn?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm trying to look up the spirit trolls stuff here as well. So let's see. So the astral elf that you just attacked sprints up to you, makes an attack on you. Sure, I'm on the right one here. That's going to be a solid 6. That is a multi-attack, so he gets 2 attacks.
I attacked recklessly, so he does get advantage.
Oh, he does get advantage, that's right. His second roll would have been a 16 then. Does that hit?
Oh yeah, that hits. I don't wear any armor or anything, so my armor class is always 14.
Okay.
But I am raging.
So you take 5 damage on the first one.
Okay. Is that, and I cut that in half to 2?
5 slashing damage, yep.
Okay.
So his second attack, first roll was a 16, second roll 16. Wow. I'm gonna check the balance on these dice. So he hits you on the second one for another 5 damage. His counterpart runs up to attack the troll, who is just now finishing swallowing the first elf. He's going to attack said troll twice. That's a 9 and a 5. I don't think either one of those hits. Let me just flip back to my troll. Nope. Okay, so the troll then turns, attacks the other elf. Does not hit with the bite, does not hit with the first claw, does not hit with the second claw. So the elf dodges out of the way as this troll, who is probably pretty bloated right now, is swinging wildly at him. It's going to bring it back up to you, Tohan.
Yeah, he's gonna attack the guy a couple more times recklessly.
Okay.
$22 to hit the first time and 13 damage.
Okay.
That's a natural 20. For another 17 damage.
All right. Yeah, he just is sliced apart by this scimitar.
Tohan learned how to use a scimitar. Hell yeah.
Well, he can't use Great Weapon Master with a one-handed weapon. So he's actually taking a lot of damage. Like, he's not doing as much damage as he should be at all, so.
Right.
Right.
And I don't get the extra attack for killing something without using Great Weapon Master.
Murder Lizard's just a little bit less murdery. Right, so the Astral Elf takes 2 swings at the troll and misses. The troll misses with the bite. Misses with the claw. And my nat 20 on the second claw, which is 19 damage. And a saving throw, which he makes. Okay. So the elf shakes off being a little bit stunned after he has clawed across his chest. Does take 19 damage, is not yet bloodied. Tohan, it's going to come back to you.
Yep, I'm going to go up and I'm actually trying to knock this guy out and not kill him.
Okay.
But if I do enough damage.
The other guy is knocked out on the ground as well, too. The very first one that you hit on the surprise attack, he just instantly got knocked out.
Okay, well, 19 to hit.
That hits.
And a natural 20 on the second one.
Alright, that definitely hits. I get the feeling that this Astral Elf is soon going to go the way
So
of
30 damage total.
Okay, so he is very bloodied. He is not yet dead, but he is not doing great either. Knowing this, he is not stupid. He is going to... Ooh, I can't disengage, because if he disengages, then he's only going to be able to move like 30 feet. That won't get him away. He is not going to disengage, and he is going to attempt to take a dash action, which provokes an opportunity attack from both you and the troll. So as he tries to run away, you each get to take a swing at him.
Not very good. 17 to hit.
That does hit. Target AC on these guys is only like 16.
13 damage.
Okay, that yeah. So he turns to run, and as soon as he turns to run, you just slash him across the back, and the troll looks and goes, "Killing a man that's running away. Nice."
Let's search these guys for keys.
Hang on. He coughs up a set of keys as they clang to the floor, all covered in troll spit. Spirit troll spit. Spirity spit.
Yeah, I take a second to gather their weapons.
Okay, you do find a longsword +1. That is +1 to attack and +1 to damage. And also a long bow. The other guy that did not get eaten also has a scimitar. It's the same thing that you've already got. They do have some elvish chainmail on.
Yeah, I was just looking for weapons because I'm going to bring them with me, and I'm going to try to unlock the gates here to arm up a couple prisoners I'm letting out.
Okay, so you're going back in where you came from?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when you get inside, you do notice next to the inside of the door is a large, there is a larger key on the keychain and a large keyhole that seems to be kind of standing apart from everything else. The troll points at it and he goes, that'll unlock the cells.
Do we want to let everyone out of here?
Fuck it. Why not?
Alright. Yeah, I throw the weapons I don't use, that I don't need, on the ground, and yell in a big voice, "It's time to get the fuck out of here!" And just unlock all the cells, and then head back to the portcullis and try to head toward where I think I saw them bring Airyainth and.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, as you do that, all of a sudden, people are awake now. They heard some fighting in the hallway. People are banging on the bars and stuff. And when you unlock shit, all hell breaks loose. Randomly, there is shit fighting in the hallway that you've never even seen. There's tentacles and fucking people are biting each other. A few people grab the weapons you threw in. A few of them charge out. But yeah, you basically leave utter chaos behind you. And you now hear the alarm klaxons being ranged all throughout the prison. You guys can hear this now. Maggie, you can hear troops coming from the barracks into the yard. And you hear them shouting, "We've got a breach in the maximum security sector. All eyes on me. Let's go, men." And several of these Astral Elves begin marching down towards where Tohan was marched to, as you can kind of see through the door here. Airyainth, you following this guy through his tunnel, you have come up now in a small storeroom in the barracks. So you are kind of in the back part of this, and your skinny companion looks at you and he goes, "Well, I hope this helps. I best get back to me digging. I swear, I'll be getting out of here."
Wait, before you go, stay with me if you don't mind. I will be of help to you to get out in the long run.
Partnership, eh? Well, it's been a long time since I had a friend in here. Suppose I could give it a shot. I'll put her there, and he spits into his palm and sticks his nasty old palm out at you, all covered in dirt and spit.
Airyainth kind of takes a moment, shrugs, spits in her own hand, and shakes his hand.
Nice. All right then. What do you need me doing?
I need to get to my staff, and I also need to find what looks like a giant gold robot.
I don't think I've ever seen a giant gold robot in this place before, but
it would have just came in. Do you have any idea where they might take it? Would it be here with the rest of the items?
Robot, you say? So, sentient?
Yes.
They probably have him in with the other prisoners, I think, if they brought him in here. Don't know, but as for your equipment, and he kind of walks over to series of like chests and drawers in one corner, and he starts pulling out drawers, and like he's not being quiet at this point.
I was like, shh, shh, shh. Wait, keep
he
quiet.
does, however, go through, and you start recognizing some of your stuff, like your equipment that you had on you, and pretty soon you are able to gather the equipment that you and Tohan and Maggie all had on you, and Venadia as well.
Yeah, just assume I shove it all into a bag of holding and hop on my broom, or keep my broom handy.
Okay.
And my staff.
As soon as you take the broom, the old man kind of looks and he's like, "Oh my, I had a broom like that once. Lovely things. At least I think I did. I don't know. It's all very confusing."
Did you are you connected to the web of magic? Do you have powers, or did you? Do you remember the feel of magic?
Yes. Long ago, there was something I could do. What was it? Why can't I remember? He says.
Shh.
Right. Sorry. It's not important now, anyways. Yes, I think I knew
Yes.
something of magic long ago, but let us.
All right.
Let us
go.
Friends. All right. So you begin heading out the barracks and roll me.
Can we just go back through the tunnel we came in?
Well, I mean, it just leads back to your cell, or where are you trying to get to in his tunnel specifically? Like out to the yard?
Probably to where his best idea of where they might keep Reggie. If that tunnel connects to other tunnels that we can continue to be incognito through.
Yeah, he has several tunnels, and he kind of led you like on lefts and rights to get here. Okay, so let me see something real quick via roll. Okay, so he leads you back down into the tunnels, and for a brief moment, it seems like maybe he doesn't know where he is. And then he leads you down a specific tunnel, and you come up, we'll say, just outside, under a large rock in the yard. And he says, "Oh, drat, that's not where I wanted to go." You are still concealed, although now you see troops moving down towards the southern portcullis. You look across, and to your amazement, you see none other than Maggie standing at the portcullis heading to the east. So you can see her. Maggie, roll me a perception check to see if you see Airyainth.
15.
Okay, yeah, you're watching these guards march past, and you just suddenly see this rock kind of shift over to one side, and like two heads poke out of it and sort of look around. And then you see Airyainth's eyes lock on you, so now you two are aware of where each other are. And at this point, these elves open the gates and begin flooding in towards you, Tohan. And the rest of these creatures that you just let out, as you begin to plow your way through these things, they meet you in battle, and as this battle sort of starts, all these other creatures start piling out behind you, and these elves go from kill them to oh shit really quick. Like they just did. Every fucking monster that's been locked away in these shithole cells is now coming out, and they're seeing these elves, and they're like, fuck fighting each other, let's kill these motherfuckers. So Airyainth, what you see is this crowd of 8 Astral Elves go running in like on a dead charge, like, kill the escapees, oh fuck, oh god, and they come running back out with Tohan and the troll chasing them. Tohan, roll me a perception check.
That's a natural one.
Okay. You
For
have
6.
no idea that all the other monsters are following you. You are completely unaware of that. Like, you just think these guys are chicken shits and are running away from you and this troll and don't want any part of you.
Get back here, you fucking cravens.
And we'll say that by now, all of this has been happening over the course of pretty much 8-9 hours, and that the sun is just starting to come back up. So now that you're in the yard, you can kind of see a little bit better too. And
Can I assume my wood elf 3/4 hide thing is helping me right now?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, nobody's noticed you as of yet. Let me unlock some unpronounceables here. I think I literally only took things that I was like, I don't think I can pronounce that, out of the bag. Oh wait, kobold. There we go. There was a kobold. I probably shouldn't have locked all these guys. Anyway, we'll just grab whoever's unlocked. Switch you guys up a little bit. Yeah, we'll just throw the first, like, 4 guys out there. So yeah, you have a Burbalang, an Orumvirax, a Narzagon, and a Gargoyle, and a Ghost, and a Chitines, all following you out the doors here. So yeah, Airyainth, you and Maggie can both see all these monsters coming up on Tohan's backside.
Do they appear to be focused on, from my perception, do they appear to be focused on Tohan or on the elves more?
It's kind of hard to say. It seems like you saw elves go in, you saw elves come out, you saw Tohan and a troll come out, and they didn't seem to be fighting, so you're kind of like, well, they must be okay. And then you saw these other 6 assholes come charging out, and you have no clue what their intentions are. You just know that they're scary-ass looking monsters. Let's see. Oh no, I love this chart. This is amazing. So, one of these guys, we'll say it's the gargoyle, I guess, runs up behind the troll, and with what appears to be some sort of a sharpened toothpick, I'm sorry, sharpened toothbrush, I read that wrong, stabs the troll several times in the back, and the troll lets out like a vicious scream and kind of swings backwards with a big haymaker and knocks the gargoyle off to one side. He's like, I got shivved! The Astral Elves are trying to make their way back towards the barracks here, we'll say. So they're kind of far away. Not super far away. But they are sort of in front of you, Airyainth.
Airyainth is trying to lay low and wait for the elves to pass, and then she whispers to her companion, when I say that after the elves pass, I'm gonna hop on my broom, and you're gonna hop on it with me, and we're gonna fly towards the big dragonborn over there and drop him his stuff. But then we'll be okay.
Who's that, the lizard? Alright, it's fine with me.
I try to like make hand gestures to Maggie to indicate what I'm gonna try to do.
So it's like it's like a little like stick, like they're doing the running with 2 fingers thing, and then like
I hold up my I show my broom. I hold up my bag of holding. I like Pamatite, like try to show like I'm playing charades and like pretend to like be hitting a frying pan.
And then Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think it's funny for her, like all of this is both like extremely chaotic and also like extremely how it was bound to go. She's like, it's as soon as Heftia opened that door, I should have known this is exactly how it would go. So she's like, cool, yes, go for it.
All right, yeah, the elves move up towards the barracks, and the doors begin opening, and now more of these elves are pouring out.
Oh, I'm charging right for him. I don't care how many there are.
Nice.
All right.
Tohan, you charge for them.
All right. As soon as Tohan gets closer and the elves are distracted, I with the dude on my broom shoot out, grab into my bag of holding, grab Tohan's stuff, and yell to him, "Here! And watch out behind you too!" And then start flying directly to Maggie.
All right. The old guy on the back of your broom yells, "Wee!" And then kind of shuffles a little bit.
Oh, I should probably ask how big the courtyard is to assume I can do this.
Well, I mean, we're not technically in combat yet because it's 8:46, and if we're gonna have a fight here, we're probably gonna have to do it next week.
No, well, does my 50 feet count though, or can I just like as far as timing as being able to get from where I am to Tohan and then to Maggie?
I would say you are able to pretty easily on your broom fly over. I would say the hardest part is getting Tohan's things out of the bag. So you kind of have two options. You can either roll me a I don't know what that would be. I would say roll me a dexterity check, just a straight dex check, at DC 15 to be able to feel around in the bag and find Tohan's like weapon at least to throw to him. Or like his bag or something with all of his stuff, like, you know, duffel bag of stuff, I guess, that he has. Just to kind of be able to feel for it. Or you can just turn the bag of holding inside out and dump everything out. Like that you can do without even trying, and he'll get his stuff, and you'll just be surrounded by all your other stuff.
No, we're not going to do that.
That's a lot of stuff.
One mountain of gold comes out.
It's just pouring out of the bag.
When Maggie gives that extra D4, how long does that last for? Just out of curiosity, because you had given me that on the ship, I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's until concentration's broken, which wouldn't have happened, and it might be until a long rest, but I don't even think that's the case. So, let me see. I mean, I don't know, Zach, is that relevant? Like,
well, technically, you didn't sleep, so you wouldn't have taken a long rest.
So,
but we all like lost consciousness and woke up bound, though, right?
Never mind. It's up to one.
Oh yeah, you did all lose consciousness.
All right, so. Yeah, so it's probably never mind. I just figured it was worth a shot. All right, hold on, let me just roll my dexterity check here.
We'll call it a 13, not a 15. I feel like you'd recognize Tohan's shit in your bag of holding.
Oh, sweet. 18.
Okay. Yeah, so you're able to grab it. You zip by, just Tohan this duffel bag of shit with your like crazy halberd thing that you have, your janky anime fucking axe.
My heart render glaive.
Yeah, that
That's
all
exactly.
lands down at your feet.
If anything else, I try to like catch the axe before the glaive before it hits the ground, and just look at the elves and be like, "You guys fucked up. Keep charging toward."
Nice. You know, normally I would worry about sending like 16 or 17 creatures against, you know, a single party member, but it's Tohan, so we're not going to worry too much about it.
All right. How much does the dude on the back of my broom weigh?
Oh, he's pretty gaunt. He's like 90 pounds maybe. He's super skinny, not very big, like not tall really.
All right. And how much do you weigh, Maggie?
I think she's like 160 without her equipment and stuff, but
Hold on, I'm just trying to get to my broom and see how much I can carry on my broom, because I was going to pick you up if I could. Oh, I can carry up to 400 pounds.
Nice.
I just get it. If I'm carrying over 200 pounds, my flying speed goes to 30 feet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so until assume that when I fly to Maggie, I try to come down and give her time to get on and get us to a safe place, maybe in the top of that tree.
So when you get to the portcullis, this is still closed right now. So I know it doesn't show it being like a roof or anything.
Okay.
But like there would be probably some sort of a cover over the top of it. You could fly over it, but like I would say your movement probably takes you to right on the other side of it. And so since you went past Tohan, did that, Maggie, you have an option to do something now. And you're starting to hear alarms being raised and seeing some of these Astral Elves coming out of the back section where there's a door into the barracks on your cell block. So they come charging around the corner. You there!
I yelled to Maggie, "Come meet me! Run!"
Now this portcullis is probably 20 feet high. So factoring climb speed being half your normal movement rate, you could climb to the top of it as a movement.
So I mean, Airyainth is like flying over this wall, right? And meanwhile, the elves are running at the wall, which still has a closed gate.
Yeah.
She's gonna, okay, but she's still like by the temple thing, right? I guess she is gonna try like thaumaturgy and kind of clear her throat, see if it works.
All right. So roll me a wisdom saving throw with advantage because of your earlier divine intervention. Hestia has taken an eye and put it right on you for this night.
Wisdom, here it is. Oh, glad I had advantage. 18.
Okay. So you take a moment and you go to speak with your thaumaturgy, and at first it doesn't seem to come out, and then you stop and you remember that sensation of that smell of warm bread, and all of a sudden, maybe it's the proximity to the gate that you have where you're away from the kind of cleric area, or maybe it's just that your faith in Hestia is so strong that you are able to overcome this kind of dampening field. Your thaumaturgy bellows out twice as loud as you normally ever would have it go. So what do you say to these elves?
She's like, sees this foolishness. We're sent by the angels and the gods of good and law to combat the demon gods of chaos. If you hamper our quest, you hamper or you speed the universe into chaos. The multiverse, I guess.
All right. So the elves slow their pace hearing this, and one of them looks at one of the others, kind of slaps him on the arm, points to you, and begins saying something in that that high elf, like not regular high elf, but like ultra high elf speak, that crazy like Gaelic style. And pretty soon they're kind of arguing with each other for a moment, and the one looks over, points at you again, shakes its head no. The other one's like shaking its head yes, and they seem to be in some sort of a debate about whether or not they should even continue pursuing you. You're not really sure exactly what the content of their conversation is. but it seems as if they're sort of divided now as a group. Let's see, Tohan. You've got as many people as you want to kill in front of you. How many people you want to kill?
Well, they're all lined up right nice in a row. Like, it'd be a shame not to use my acid breath.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, a 30-foot line, DC 15 save, deck save.
Okay, yeah, you can get pretty much half of them. Oh. DC what? Deck save?
DC 15 deck save.
Oh man. They are at +4 for their deck savings throw, so that's not bad as long as I don't roll another 3 like I have been all night. That's literally a 3. God damn it. I wish I had this on video. I need to set up that dice cam again so you guys can see these fucking dice getting rolled. This is ridiculous. So they rolled a 7 on their saving throw. I'm not going to roll fucking 13 individual saving throws for it. So
they take
yeah.
22 damage.
22 damage. Okay, so the elf companions on the eastern half of this that don't take any splash damage from it, they cringe back, violently recoil as they watch half of their companions that come running out the door. Their skin is being burned off by this acid. Their fine, like, elven chainmail is corroding together on itself, and they are all now bloodied. Everyone that took a hit.
Well, that's the only thing I can do on that one. Re-rage if I have to, but
okay.
Probably still pretty fucking angry.
Let's see. Yeah, and at this point, like, I feel like you're like, this is a scene right here where you've got 2 or 3 dozen of these guys just charging Tohan. The troll is distracted because he's trying to find that little gargoyle fucker that shivved him. And Tohan is on his own making like a stand and just acid breaths half of them and the other half are like, ooh, ooh, oh no. And that's when the monsters slam into them. And just all sorts of shit is going down now. Now they're getting ripped like limb from limb by these various creatures. I'll do a quick little zoom in so that you guys can see what they all look like. One guy's like a crazy wraith on like a wraith horse thing. Like picture the Nazgul. I think they just reskinned them. There is a ghost that just seems to be terrorizing them. This little crazy like 8-legged fox dog thing. There is a 4-armed sort of orcish looking thing with that's picked up some weaponry.
It's a 4-armed predator.
Yeah. And coming out of the gate behind you, as you look back when these things all slam into these Astral Elves. Put them all up. Bonk. So when the battle comes to full kind of fruition and they all slam into each other, you look behind you and you see what the undead mind flayer stepping out of the gate, and it raises its hands, and all of the Astral Elves now, and some of the monsters even, begin just screaming and freaking out and like grasping at their heads. And it looks at you, and you get like a brief sensation that it's sort of trying to probe your mind, and then you just hear a voice that can only be, it's got to be this thing because you're looking right at it, and it says, "You freed me. You will be spared for now."
Well, that thing goes on my list.
Ton's like, "Fucking spare you for now, motherfucker." Alright. Airyainth, you are able to get to where Maggie is. You are able to go up and over. And Maggie, just make me a dex saving throw if you would like to grab a hold of this pile of humans on a broom.
I also try to reach out to help her.
She kind of closes her eyes and takes a big gulp and rolls a 20.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, so like you literally close your eyes, stick your hand up, and Airyainth just grabs you and like does the old like loop you up onto the back thing. Her old man companion, whose name I did not write down, but it is somewheres on my phone. Rowan? Yes, Rowan. Write that down on paper so that I don't lose it. Rowan. Old man.
That's the name of a tree.
Yeah, so Rowan helps hold on to you for a moment.
She's just pretending that all this isn't happening.
Airyainth tries to maneuver towards the tree and try to get cover for the three of them there, so they have a moment to. So she has a moment to give Maggie her stuff, and they can figure out what their next move is.
All right.
And also, so she can fully recover, get all her stuff together, and try to sense if any of her abilities are back, especially her plant one, since she's near nature.
Let's see. Roll me an intelligence saving throw.
$14.
Okay, so you think that like you try to make the tree do something for you, and like it doesn't work, but you can sense that you can probably force it to work. Like perhaps like maybe you just didn't roll high enough. But you also sense that once you get that magic working, it's not going to be an issue after that. Like you'll be able to use it again.
All right. In the meantime, Airyainth quickly passes Maggie her stuff.
All right.
And allows for them to both get their dressed and try to figure out their next plan. Airyainth tells Maggie that she really wants to find where they have Reggie and what her thoughts are.
Maggie tells her that she thinks she found the temple with the word.
Airyainth looks at her with interest. Where is it?
Maggie points it out, tells her what she saw there.
Is there an opening for us to get in?
Oh yeah, you could fly in through any one of number of open windows.
All right. What's the current situation like, as far as like, well, how far is it from the tree to the doorway there?
Let's see. So from the tree to the doorway, roughly, it's about 50 feet or so. From the doorway to the temple, there's around another 70 feet.
All right. Airyainth makes one last concerted effort, tries with all of her heart to make her connection to the tree again.
Okay, so we'll call that both of your actions for the turn action and bonus action.
Okay,
go ahead and
sorry.
roll me another intelligence saving throw. Sort of like using your bonus action to give yourself advantage on the initial attempt.
14 again.
Okay, so yeah, you see like some leaves start to shake and shudder, but it doesn't like vine out or do anything cool like you were trying to make it do.
All right, that'll be my turn for the moment then, so that Maggie has a chance to do her thing.
Right. And with the sun coming up over the horizon, you're watching this row go on underneath you. Tohan's down there in the thick of it. And suddenly, almost as though from nowhere, Venadia appears. Just comes fucking, I don't know, maybe up out of the same tunnel that you guys found. She goes, "Look, guys, I found a tunnel." So, with all four of you in this, she joins right in with Tohan, of course.
If Airyainth has a free action to yell, she'll try to yell to Venadia to try to get her her stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, to round out tonight's session, we'll say everybody gets their stuff back. The Astral Elves in the courtyard are quickly decimated by several of these monsters, and many of these monsters then kind of scatter. Um, some of them go back out through the open portcullises towards the entranceway and begin trying to pry their way out of this place. Um, I will even go so far as to say, Airyainth, you are able to kind of zoom into a window and perform your perfunctory duty of collecting this word without much of an issue. The elves that were in the temple area sort of wandered back towards the barracks. Apparently, the one who said, no, we're not fucking with these guys if they're really that powerful that they can break our dampening fields. That's what they were talking about. So they've sort of dispersed. You do see some of the other prisoners have wandered out of their cells now, and they're watching all of this go on. Some of them are even getting kind of cheering you on as you fly above everything, fly into the temple. And again, this word turns gold, flies around, does its own thing. Let me open up let's see, my recents. This is it. Where is it? There it is. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the fifth word is Essie, Ecce. I don't know how you say Latin like that. So your phrase has now become, though chaos reign, let justice be. Let justice, sorry, not be. There's no be. Don't worry about it. It's fine. That word didn't exist.
I know nothing.
Well, it's hard because they give me 7 words. But they gave them to me, I think, out of order for what they actually translate to, because the words themselves are in fact Latin, from what I've read. Like in the actual adventure, The Rod of 7 Parts, that was from a previous edition, they give you these words. They are Ruat, Kalim, Fiat, Justitia, Essie, and then there's 2 more. And then the phrase, though chaos reign, let justice. That's how far you guys have gotten. There's 2 more words. The next one's
it's gonna happen.
Next one's definitely not B. Don't worry about it. So yeah, you feel that same familiar kind of strengthening of the staff, and as you make your way back to your friends to try to figure out your next move, suddenly the sky is blotted out as a shadow passes over you quickly, and then another, and then another. And looking up, coming in like fire down from the stars above,
The Eagles.
you see. Wouldn't that be something? That would be good for you, but no, this is unfortunately not the Eagles. What you see is something that you haven't seen since before you left Tyrell. Dragons. Several of them, as a matter of fact. Several of these large, shining, strange-looking dragons that almost seem to be made up of the same ethereal, astral material that you've been sailing along. They seem to be made up almost of space themselves. And that's probably where we're going to leave it, is with the voice coming through the clouds saying, you may have defeated my last physical form, but let's see how you fare against this one. And a dragon swoops down over the courtyard. This thing looking absolutely terrifying. And the voice you recognize is that of none other than Jarlaxle. As you look up at the visage of this dragon, you see its mouth open, and from its mouth sprouts many tentacles. And you realize that you may, in fact, be dealing with... Hang Hang on, because I got to look up the name of the damn thing because I forgot what it was called. There's a word for these in D&D.
I'm surprised it just isn't like astral dragons.
The dragons that you see, that's what if you were going to put a meta label on it, yes, they are in fact astral dragons, but the one that spoke and then flew down and is much larger is... Why can I not find it? Ah, there it is. Is called a brain stealer.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Rowan, your old man, looks up and he's like, "Oh no, a brain stealer dragon." Yeah, we'll say that. It's like, those things they're real nasty. It's when a illithid gets a hold of a dragon. You know, like mind flayers. Yeah, they have those little like tadpoles that they put in things. Well, somebody put a tadpole in a dragon. That's how you got that. I like Rowan. He's fun. He's fucking cuckoo. Like, Nick, you said you read Six of Swords, right? Or not Six.
Yeah.
The Misenchanted Sword. I mean.
Yes.
It reminds me of that wizard. Like, that's what I'm picturing this Rowan guy as. He's just like
the hermit.
Yeah, the batshit crazy hermit that just lives on his own forever. Yeah. So.
I feel like you're one of the characters that you've voiced the least dissimilar to yourself. I feel like this is your like old man goals.
Yeah. Yes, my daughter's gotten me onto doing old man voice. It's one of the funniest goddamn impressions to hear a 12-year-old girl be like, ah! She does it incredibly well, and it cracks me up, so I stole it from her.
That's awesome.
Alright, guys, I do have to be up in the morning, so thanks everybody on the internet for watching, even though you didn't. And, yeah, thanks you guys for playing. And we'll pick up hopefully next week, maybe with everybody.
It was fun as always.
Awesome.
Exactly. I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. And happy Thanksgiving to you too, Internet Land. We'll see y'all next time.